But the truth is that you've got to become a better human to become a better salesperson, because if you think about what we're doing, it's listening skills, it's being truly curious, it's taking responsibility, accountability, it's being on this path of discipline and continual learning and having to reinvent ourselves and all of these things that really aren't just sales lessons, they're life lessons. And I think that's how the title was born, that selling isn't everything, but it's something, right?
But it is something. And just to be clear, Shari, the way you just put that, if you're struggling at sales or you're quote unquote bad at sales, does that mean you're a bad human?
Oh God, now you're messing with me. No, it does not mean that, the inverse is not true. I know you're very.
All right, I just want to make sure we're not saying that.
We're gonna have these debates. Right. You being a linguist are going to challenge me, but no, the inverse is not true. Because I don't believe anybody can sell. My husband would be a terrible salesperson. He is so literal.
Oh, interesting.
He's scientific. He's, very much an analytical. He's a pilot. He's a doctor. He just doesn't want to talk to people that much. He was an anesthesiologist. He put people to sleep if they talk too much. So, but I don't believe that anyone can sell, but I believe anyone who wants to can be a good human. But no, the inverse is not true.
All right. Okay. So, but these are some of these ideas that I think you and I both just find super interesting to kind of geek out on. And we've got a long list of potential guests that we've lined up in our heads, at least, of who could come in and kind of share their perspective on this. But maybe to kick us off, so I'd asked you a question it was not the other day now, it was a while ago, but we've kind of reviewed it a couple times around this. It seems like an interesting thing to talk about, given where we are in our profession, which is more advanced, which is code for old. But this question of like, there's all sorts of lessons I think that we can take from selling and our experience selling, or my experience of being involved in sales and researching sales and being around the sales profession for the better part of 3 decades now almost. What are some of the things you learned about selling? So selling lessons that have become life lessons, I think would be an interesting place to start the conversation. And I know you've had a long list. We won't get through all today, but are there a couple that stand out for you?
Yeah. I wrote a few things down, and I was actually, as I was preparing for this morning, I had to stop, and sometimes you have to have a beginner's...
Were we supposed to prepare? Oh God.
Well, not really. And we talked about that because otherwise it gets performative, right? And, I would have a tendency to over prepare, and that's not a good thing when speaking from the heart.